Morgan to get out of school so we can go home. So I figured I'd come on here and do a live. Not that anybody will watch it, I don't care. But I was going to talk about this one YouTube channel I've been watching lately. What is it called? Oh yeah, it's called Scary Interesting, where the dude is talking about various things that have happened to people, whether it's an accidental death or they were murdered, whatever it is. It's usually something that's not good. And there are two stories that he told. Now keep in mind, these are true stories. There are two stories he told that really stood out to me. The first one was where there was this child and their family that lived in, like, what did he say? I think he said Argentina. And they lived on the 13th floor of an apartment building. And they also had a little puppy. So one day the kid is playing catch with the dog and throwing a ball around. And I guess he threw the ball way too hard. And the ball went out the window, or out the, I guess out the doorway and over the balcony. So the dog chased the ball, fell to its death, and when it fell, it hit a lady who was standing underneath the door, so she died instantly. And there was another woman who was like across the street who had witnessed all of this. A crowd was starting to form or whatever because they had just witnessed something horrifying. So this woman, she decides that she's going to go across the street and see what happened. She wanted to get a closer look. So she steps out into the road and gets hit and killed instantly by a bus that was speeding through. And it gets crazier. There was a gentleman, older gentleman, who was there on the scene too, who witnessed everything. After seeing the woman get hit like that and killed instantly, he ended up collapsing and dying of a heart attack. Just unbelievably just messed up and bizarre. And then the second story, I had just heard, a couple hours ago, not even a couple hours ago, about 45 minutes ago. Evidently, there was this young man, I forgot where he lived. I mean, he lived with his mom, somewhere here in the U.S., I don't know, and it was back in 2003 or 2004 or whatnot. Well, this young man, he had issues with the law, he had issues with substance addiction, and I guess he was in and out of prison. Now, his mom said that he was a good kid. He had just made a bunch of bad decisions in life, and that wound him up in prison, wound him up living with her and stuff. Well, he ended up getting really, really sick. He was had uncontrolled vomiting, he had horrible headache, and he wasn't getting any better, so he ended up having to go to the hospital. Well, long story short, there was nothing they could do for him, and I guess he had died, ended up dying of a brain hemorrhage or a brain aneurysm, right? So I guess what he had told his mother is that he had wanted to be an organ donor. So that's what ended up happening. Now, evidently, there are not a whole lot of tests that are done when it comes to vital organs. They don't really check to see if the person who passed away has any kind of, disease or illness that could be passed along, to the people who are receiving the organs, right? And see, I didn't know that. Well, there were 5 different people that ended up getting, getting his organs. It was 5 different people had 5 different issues, and his organs were used to help them. And at first, things were going really, really good for these people. But next thing you know, they end up having the same symptoms he had. They were sick all the time. They were vomiting. They had issues like swallowing liquid. They were temperamental. They would get violent. They ended up in the hospital too. Long story short, they all died, including the organ donor. They all died of rabies. That's what the dude had originally, the original guy. I guess he had gotten bit by a bat at his mom's house where he was staying, and he was infected. So when he died and his organs were given to these people, guess what? They ended up getting it too, and they all died. And I just think that's probably one of the worst stories I've heard in a long time. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, it's scary too. It's people are going to be getting somebody's organs, and The hospital doesn't even want to check to see if they're maybe contaminated, or maybe somebody's sick, or maybe they have, some communicable disease. They're just going to go ahead and, do the transplants like that. Absolutely horrifying. Anyways, guys, I have to go. Oh, hi, Deborah. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a while. I don't make videos like I used to, but I think I'll be doing more lives. And I wanted to thank you so much for your continued support. It really, it's awesome. It really keeps me going. Anyways, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.